From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, October the 10th, 2025. I'm Steve Prentice. Azure outage blocks access to Microsoft 365 services and admin portals. This outage affected the Microsoft Azure Front Door Content Delivery Network, CDN, and prevented customers from accessing some Microsoft 365 services. Delays and timeouts were observed across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East yesterday for users connecting to the Azure and Entra portals. Since then, Microsoft engineering teams have been, quote, restarting Kubernetes instances that were causing capacity loss across AFD instances to bring them back online, end quote. As of this recording, 96% of impacted resources have been successfully recovered. Major U.S. law firm suffers cyberattack. Williams & Connolly, a firm that includes some high-profile politicians on its client list, said that on Tuesday, quote, suspected nation-state hackers used a zero-day attack to break into email accounts belonging to a small number of attorneys, end quote. The firm did not say which nation-state, but it is believed to be the same that has recently attacked other law firms and companies, and the New York Times claims its sources see this nation-state as being China. The Google Threat Intelligence Group and Mandiant concur, stating that, quote, China Nexus threat clusters have been leading a campaign which exploits zero-day vulnerabilities to target the U.S. legal sector and collect information related to U.S. national security and international trade, end quote. Spokespeople for Williams & Connolly, the firm in question, emphasized that, quote, it does not have evidence that confidential client data was taken from central databases where the files are kept, end quote. Hacktivists aiming for critical infrastructure get pwned. A pro-Russian hacktivist group called pwned, that is TWONET, recently changed tack, moving from launching DDoS attacks to targeting critical infrastructure. A report from enterprise IT security firm Forescout describes how the group attacked what it thought was a water treatment plant, but was instead a decoy set up to observe the activities of such groups. The full story is available at Bleeping Computer, the link is in the show notes, and it describes the various steps the group took, believing this to be a real target. Forescout recommends that organizations in the critical infrastructure sector ensure that systems have strong authentication and are not exposed to the public web. Hackers access SonicWall cloud firewall backups. SonicWall stated on Wednesday that, quote, an unauthorized party accessed firewall configuration backup files for all customers who have used the cloud backup service. The files contain encrypted credentials and configuration data. While encryption remains in place, possession of these files could increase the risk of targeted attacks, end quote. A list of impacted devices is available on the My SonicWall portal, along with a priority level to help customers determine their remediation efforts. Devices with internet-facing services enabled are listed as the highest priority. Huge thanks to our sponsor, ThreatLocker. Imagine having the power to decide exactly what runs in your IT environment and blocking everything else by default. That's what ThreatLocker delivers. As a zero-trust endpoint protection platform, ThreatLocker fills the gaps traditional solutions leave behind, giving your business stronger security and control. Don't just react to threats, stop them with ThreatLocker. A quick reminder for fans of the CISO series and New York City-based security professionals, you are all welcome to join us for a fun networking event in New York City on October 21st at 5:30 p.m. It's free, so head on over to the events page at cisoseries.com to register. Hundreds of millions of business PCs are still on Windows 10 as the end day nears. Following up on a story we have been covering regularly throughout this year, some interesting statistics around the expiry of support for Windows 10, which occurs next Tuesday, October 14th. According to analyst Kieran Jessup of Omdia, speaking to The Register, there are 1.4 billion Windows devices running worldwide amongst individual consumers and businesses. 550 million of these machines are running in corporations, and around half of those will not meet the end-of-life deadline to switch to Windows 11. In many cases, this is because the devices do not meet the minimum requirements for the upgrade. On October 14th, Microsoft will issue the final updates and security fixes, after which business customers will have to pay for extended security updates at $61 for the first 12 months, doubling to $122 for the second year, and doubling again for year 3. WordPress plugin flaw gives hackers access to admin accounts. The flaw, which has a CVE number and a CVSS score of 9.8, exists within the Service Finder Bookings plugin. According to WordFence, versions of this plugin up to and including versions 6.0 have, quote, an authentication bypass issue, allowing attackers to log in as any user, including admins, due to improper cookie validation, end quote. The plugin is a built-in component designed to let businesses and professionals offer service listings and online booking functionality on their WordPress website. Arrests made in the UK nursery ransomware attack. Following up on a story we covered in late September, 2 individuals, both 17-year-old boys, have been arrested in connection with the ransomware attack on the Kido chain of children's nurseries, that is spelled Kido. The attack, which had been claimed by a group named Radiant, exposed data such as names, home addresses, parent work locations, and images of the children. The hackers had been calling parents directly about the hack in order to pressure Kido into paying the £600,000 ransom. ChatGPT image and prompts used as evidence in arrest of Pacific Palisade Eaton fire suspect. U.S. prosecutors have charged Jonathan Rinderknecht with arson for allegedly starting the 2025 Palisades wildfire in California, which destroyed homes and forced mass evacuations. Investigators say digital evidence links him to the fire, including a ChatGPT-generated image of a burning city found on his phone, which they argue reflects premeditation. Additional data from his phone, online activity, and physical evidence allegedly connect him to the blaze's origin, including questions about whether one can be found guilty from a cigarette lighting a fire. The defense disputes the interpretation, noting that an AI-created image is circumstantial and not proof of action. The case highlights growing challenges in using generative AI content as criminal evidence. It's Friday, and that means we've got an episode of The Week in Review coming up at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. If you have never joined us live, you're missing out. Not only do you get to see the smiling faces of our host, Rich Straffolino, and the expert CISO guests, but you get to join in on our lively chat. So if you've got 30 minutes to spare to help kick off your weekend, we would love for you to join us later today. As always, just go to the events page at cisoseries.com to register. And if there's a story we've shared on this show that you have used at work, please let us know at feedback@cisoseries.com. We would love to hear how the show is making a difference. I'm Steve Prentice, reporting for the CISO Series.
Cybersecurity headlines are available every weekday. Head to cisoseries.com for the full stories behind the headlines.